Also the same with Instagram. With Instagram now we are getting. If I don't do any ads, usually I have like 2 to 3 patients a week from Instagram. If I do an ad, usually I have 1 to 2 patients for every 10 euros I spend. Most of my ads are just, not most, all of my ads now are just promoting my content.
Welcome, Jorge. This is awesome. This is my first time to interview one of my international students. So thank you for taking the time. I know you're, I think, 6 or 7 hours ahead of us. So appreciate you taking the time. You got a beautiful, very young family that I pulled you away from. So appreciate it.
I appreciate it for the invitation. It's like, I can say it's almost like a dream come true because I'm following you for a long time now. Started with your podcast and now being in your podcast, it's like just awesome for me.
full circle moment. That's cool. How long ago did you start listening to the podcast?
To your podcast, probably 3 years ago, I think.
Okay. And had you already started your practice at that point?
Yes, but only part-time.
Okay. Well, why don't you give us a background on kind of what got you into osteopathy and into therapies, treatment as a whole, and then we'll kind of get into your journey into private practice. Yeah.
Okay. So what got me to physical therapy school, it was that in 2007, I don't know if you want to go that far
Sure.
back. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, spondyloarthritis. I was a manager in a clothing shop, and then I had to stop working. I was in crutches for 1.5 years.
Wow.
And then I decided to go to a health profession, and I decided to go to physical therapy. Okay. Then 1 year after finishing physical therapy school, I decided to go to osteopathy. I thought at the moment that physical therapy, I wasn't able to treat everything the way I wanted to. So that got me to osteopathy school.
Wow. And how long are those programs for physical therapy and for osteopathy in Portugal?
For physical therapy, it's 4 years. Okay. It's a bachelor's degree. And now to osteopathy, it's also 4 years. But when the way I took it, it's a 5-year part-time course only for physical therapists.
Okay. So
people starting there already have a good knowledge of anatomy, human movement.
Mm-hmm. So you got your 4-year bachelor's in physical therapy and then another 5 to get the osteopathy degree.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of school for sure.
Yeah.
So then from that point, coming out, I guess, from osteopathy school, you graduated a handful of years ago, and what path did you take from there?
Well, I've always known since the moment I was in physical therapy school that I would want to own my own clinic. Probably before that, I've always known that I wanted to have my own business. Mm-hmm. I think that was always printed in my brain. So the question was about when. Mm-hmm. And during my studies in osteopathy, I was working already as a physical therapist in one of the top 3 Portuguese soccer teams. So I was working there, and since I only had the Mondays off, I tried to find a place that I could afford only working there on Mondays. Because working in sports, you don't have weekends, you live there always at 9 p.m. Sometimes you have to stay away from your family 1 week. 15 days, travel to other countries, and that just wasn't what I wanted to my family.
Mm-hmm. So you were working 6 days a week for the soccer team, and then excuse me, and then you decided to, on the one day off, start your practice.
Yes, and I had a few mornings, but basically Monday off.
Yeah, wow, that's impressive. So how long were you doing both? The, starting the practice and then still working with the team?
Around 1 year. Okay. I thought I would do it longer, but it happened that I left the team before I went the first time.
And so, like, did you leave your job with the team because your practice was so busy, or you didn't, and you needed more space in your schedule to?
No. Because I don't know if I should say that here, but they wanted us to work more and pay less. So
okay.
Basically they decided for me. So
there you go. They made you an offer.
One thing, I think this is a problem, at least in the way I see it, for most physical therapists that want to open their own practice, at least in Portugal. Uh, they don't know the difference between a practice and a business, mm-hmm. where you work there and you are just in the rat race ongoing, and when you have a business, it's completely different. And at first, I think we all of us have to have a practice and work there, right, for long hours, but eventually you have to think about what you want,
how you want your life to be from day to day.
It's not a problem if you want to practice, but if you imagine yourself working till you are 60 years old in the treatment room because you want to, it's great. But if you are working till 60 years old in the treatment room because you have to, that's completely different.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah. So, and you've really, it's been really great working with you in the mastermind group and seeing the growth and the success, and now bringing on, we'll talk about here in a bit, bringing on other clinicians, and it's been really fun to see, and obviously coinciding with the growth of your family, and now you have more time to be with them, and it's really been inspiring. So I'm glad to have you on here. So for some context for the listeners, since, probably almost no one will have an understanding at this point of the differences between the healthcare system in the US and the healthcare system in Portugal, and specific to our niche or our model of being, out of network or not covered, or, cash based. What are things like for normal practices in Portugal, providing physical therapy and osteopathy services?
For physical therapy, most practices use an insurance-based model, right? But you have two things, because to be an insurance-based model, the owner, or at least the CEO or the director of the practice, has to be a physician, a medical doctor.
Oh, okay.
As a physical therapist, you can only work as a cash pay.
Okay.
Because most insurance companies won't do any partnerships with you. Maybe 5% of them at most. Okay. But you also have another thing, because here in Portugal, most healthcare is free. So you can always go to your general practitioner and ask for physical therapy for free. It's not completely free, but it's €1 or €2 a session.
Oh, wow. €1 or €2 a session. So just to make sure I'm understanding, there's a social based system where most services is either free or very cheap.
Yeah.
But in order to, kind of utilize that system, you're going to have to see a physical therapist that's working in a practice that's owned by a physician, because otherwise the
You
insurance.
have to go to a physician consultation, and then the physician decides what you have to do with the physical therapist.
Okay.
And usually you are being treated in that system with three to five people at the same time.
Wow. So it's hard to provide the kind of care that you'd want to.
Not possible.
Yeah.
No.
I say hard, and really in my mind, it's like impossible, but I'm just trying to be nice here. But so how many, like, I know you don't have exact numbers, but if you think about kind of the physical therapists in Portugal as a whole that get into private practice, or that want to go into private practice. So if they don't want to like have a partner who's a physician, or, I mean, can you do that? Can you say, hey, I want to have my own practice, but I know I have to have a physician kind of owner? Can they partner, or does it have to be wholly?
Yes, they do.
Okay, that's good.
You can be the owner and have the physician working for you.
Oh, you can. Okay, good. Okay. Do some physical therapists do that?
I know a few.
Okay. Now,
but then you in that model you will work with insurance companies, and they don't pay that much. That's why you have to have at least 3 patients being treated at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in that way, it's kind of like here, that they pay very little for your services, and it forces you to see a time.
For osteopathy, it's not the same. For osteopathy, there are almost no insurance companies that cover osteopathy. Okay. And it's not in the healthcare system, in the national healthcare system. So it's basically cash pay, 90% of the practices.
You're kind of almost forced into cash pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope it stays that way.
What's that?
I hope it stays that way.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get an idea of kind of how many therapists tend to want to go into private practice when it's difficult to own your own practice unless you're employing a physician. Like, wouldn't that be at a really high cost?
Practice, but you can only be cash pay.
Yeah. Okay. Are there a lot of those?
Yeah. Every year, more and more.
Every year, more and more. Okay, great. Maybe some of them will be listening to this podcast, and it'll inspire them as well.
Like, I hope so.
Yeah. So what kind of costs, like what's the average cost for a cash pay session with, just, let's say, just physical therapy? They're not an osteopath, they're not an osteopath as well, but just a physical therapy cash pay session. Like, what's the common average?
From 20 to 30 euros.
20 or 30 euros.
If you are in Lisbon, from 30 to 40.
30 to 40. In Lisbon, you said?
Yes, in Lisbon, 30 to 40. Outside Lisbon, 20 to 30.
Okay. And so, yeah, what's the exchange? I haven't looked at the exchange in so long. I haven't traveled internationally. What is the exchange rate kind of at right now?
Now, 10 euros are like $8.50, I think.
Okay, so it's not too far off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in those
like 5 times less everything than the US.
Yeah. Okay. So everything costs way less as well. Okay. Yeah. And would that be kind of for a 30-minute session or a full hour?
A full hour.
Full hour. Okay.
Usually, no one has 30-minute sessions here.
Really? Okay. Always.
You are cash pay. If you are a physical therapist with your own practice, usually you always have 1 hour with the client.
And do they mostly have one-on-one when you're cash pay?
Yes.
Patient? Yeah. Great. And would you say that as a whole in the population, is it like widely adopted, the idea of going and paying cash at physical therapy, or is it mostly like, no, you like physical therapy?
No. For physical therapy, no. Most people look for insurance.
Most of them go for the free.
Yeah.
But then do you feel like they recognize that being in there with 3 to 5 patients at the same time is did it seem like it's top of mind? They understand the difference in care?
Not before they try it our way.
Yeah.
It is one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Before that, that's the only way they have seen it. So that's what they know for them. So their only reality.
Right. I think it's, I'm kind of in my bubble, and interacting mostly with cash pay providers. So, but if I kind of break out of that, I think that the population as a whole, it's similar here, where it's just expected you use insurance for therapy and pretty much all healthcare services. And then, they don't really know the difference in treatment until they've actually experienced it, because someone recommended, you try something different, or your marketing was effective, or for whatever reason, or maybe the doctor even said you should go to this person, for
a lot of our patients have insurance, and sometimes they tried it, physical therapy in another place, and then they come to us because it didn't work.
Yeah, didn't have a good result. Yeah. Okay, great. I feel like I have a decent idea of kind of the lay of the land over there in the healthcare system, and how it relates to what we do. And so tell us a little bit about how things went when you stopped working for the pro soccer team and went full time in your private practice. Tell us about that.
Okay. So when I was in the soccer team, I started to looking for books, because I read a lot. I love reading, and I was searching on Amazon, and I went to Paul Gogh, New Patient Accelerated Method book. Okay. Then I started following him on YouTube. So your interview with him, then started following you. Okay. Then got spammed by both of you.
He's worse about that than I am, I promise.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
He's proud of it too.
Then still, I was still in the soccer team, and when I changed my website and start using funnels and lead magnets.
Okay.
And that was working. That was working for a while until COVID hit. I think that was working.
Okay.
Not now anymore, at least here for me.
Interesting. I'd like to talk more about that. So for a good while, a year or two at least, you had set up lead magnets on your website, and then automated email funnels beyond that.
Yeah. Right? I was doing some Facebook ads as well.
And you were driving Facebook ad traffic to the lead magnets?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was growing your practice. You were staying relatively busy with that?
Yeah.
Cool. And in that process before COVID, just curious, did you find that you were having to change the ads frequently in order to continue to get results? Or was it like you had certain ones that were they just,
I didn't felt that. I only had Mondays to work. So.
Oh, right. Okay. You're still just on Mondays. Okay.
Yeah. I was full on Mondays, so I didn't really felt the need to change my ads that frequently.
Okay. Now, how long were you full-time in your practice, not working for the soccer team, before COVID hit about a year ago?
Since 2019, since October 2019. So I was there for a few months. It was growing. Then COVID hit.
Okay.
We closed for almost 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are growing again. So.
Okay. And okay, now I have a better idea. So really wasn't that long full time in your business.
No.
October to March. Yeah. And then that happened. And so you were forced to close doors for 3 months in Portugal?
We weren't forced. I chose to.
Okay.
Because I thought at the time it was the right thing to do. Yeah. Because we didn't know that much about the virus. So for the first months, I decided to close.
Right on. And did you implement any telehealth at that time, or no?
Only for Pilates and a few physical therapy sessions.
Okay. Osteopathy for you is much more of the manual.
Yeah, we cannot do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
What I did during the quarantine and while I was home was calling my patients, my usual patients on the phone, and just keep talking to them. They also needed company because they were also closed indoors. So
so you're just making regular phone calls to your patients?
Yes, just give them some advice if they needed to.
That's great. That's great.
And that worked pretty well when we opened back.
Then they were ready to come back in, and you kept that contact.
It was like a personal nurture system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very hands-on nurture.
Yeah.
Hands-on virtual, but still like not automated. But that's great.
Yeah.
That's great that you did that. And then so when you guys reopened doors, and this was obviously something that I talked with you about, wanting to bring to my audience and bring to the podcast, is what I was seeing you do on Instagram and the results that you were, telling us in our mastermind group that you were getting from these posts, which were just astounding. And these were organic posts, and not to say that you didn't do any ads as well, but just like your organic posts, and videos producing 3-5 patients, sometimes a single post. It's like, holy crap. I mean, that's really impressive. So I would love to just break down that process and for you to explain what it was, what you were doing on Instagram, and how, they could replicate it as well on their own.
I have to thank you first because you advised us to read the Gary Vaynerchuk book, Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Okay.
And it was one of those books. I was just reading the introduction, and it completely changed my mind. It was like an eureka moment.
What was it about the introduction of that book? And I'll just repeat it for.
I realized that most of us, we want to use Instagram or Facebook as a channel to communicate, to talk about our business. But it's a social media platform. It's the new way of socializing. It's the new way that people talk with each other. Mm-hmm. It's not made for business. It's made for people. Mm-hmm. And if you try and take the people out of it, it won't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so how did you take that personalization and kind of non-business approach into your posts?
I've tried to be more entertaining, because you have to think about why are people on Instagram? What makes them go there? They want to be entertained. They want to see pictures of their friends. They want to see pictures of celebrities. They want to see pictures of sushi. Yeah, things that they like, and that they not only to see, but also to make others see you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? And then I've tried to be more entertaining and to take pictures with my patients. Only by taking pictures with my patients, okay, I'm creating a native content, right, native to the platform. Right? Then I will identify my patient, for example.
You mean like tag them?
Yeah, tag them. Only by that, there are some friends or some followers of that patient who will see the post. Mm-hmm. Then what most patients do is that I've never asked for it, but they do it anyway. They share it on their stories and they comment like, "Thank you, I'm feeling much better." Now most of the followers and friends will see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's native to the platform, and they are seeing like a testimonial,
Mm-hmm.
someone who trusts you. Then they will check you out and sometimes book an appointment.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so that's one type of post you were doing, of just like literally like selfie with the patient. You got your masks on, and then they reshare it. And you said you're not really even asking them to you just tag them and they do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You would post those pictures on your timeline and then share it in your story.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And would you be doing this on Facebook at the same time, kind of the same post?
Yes, I was, but you cannot expect the same results.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They are different platforms. If you are targeting people above 60 years old,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be on Facebook.
It's just funny to hear that, right? It's like just 5 years ago, it's like, above 60, it's like you need to be in the newspaper. Now it's like, look, if you want to target the millennials, like don't even worry about Facebook. You need to be on Instagram and TikTok.
I did an ad on Facebook two weeks ago, just promoting my clinic's presentation, the same as the website.
Mm-hmm.
When I was analyzing the data, 80% of the people had more than 60 years old.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. And so was that successful, that ad? I mean, did you get
one patient? One patient.
Okay. And how much did you spend on the ad?
10 euros.
10 euros. So you're already way positive with just one visit. Yeah. Okay.
Also the same with Instagram. With Instagram, now we are getting, if I don't do any ads, usually I have like 2 to 3 patients a week from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I do an ad, usually I have 1 to 2 patients for every 10 euros I spend.
It's incredible. All right, so let's break.
And just most of my ads are just not most. All of my ads now are just promoting my content.
And we're talking about like you and your patient selfies. You're turning those into ads or different?
No. Treatment videos.
Okay, treatment videos. So yeah, let's talk about the different types of. Well, let's stay with the organic stuff first, and then we'll get into ads. So on Instagram, we know the first type of post that started out doing really well was kind of the picture with the patient, tagging them, sharing it on their stories, and going from there. What other?
Sorry, I just remembered a story.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a month ago, I think. One female patient, she was there. I didn't ask her for to take a picture because we cannot ask everyone. It would be a lot of pictures a day. Then after she left, she went looking for one of our clinic pictures, and then she shared it and on her story, and commented something like, "It was the best treatment I ever had." Mm-hmm. Then I went to thank her, and she was like, "I really wanted to take a picture with you, but I was too shy to ask."
Nice. Like, next treatment, we'll take a picture.
So that's why I'm saying it's the new way to socialize. That's why we have to keep it a little bit personal, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, aside from those types of pictures, what other posts have you done? Organic posts that have produced patients?
Usually, I'll tell you first about the ones that usually don't produce patients, or at least not that many. Content posts about sciatica, about scoliosis, about discal hernias. Those kind of posts almost don't produce any patients. Yeah. Sometimes they do, but we cannot rely on them. But if I make like a video post, at least one patient.
A video treatment or what?
Yeah, a treatment video.
Treatment video, okay.
Yeah. And usually I do it like 10 minutes for YouTube. Then I cut some pieces and have like 30 seconds to 60 seconds to put it on Instagram.
Okay.
From the same video.
Do you ever use Instagram TV, like or do you really try to keep it to a minute or less?
I use Instagram TV when I want to do more like video content, more like about pathology or about what is osteopathy. To do that kind of post, I use IGTV.
Okay. And so with the treatment videos, do you have staff that's filming this for you while you're working on folks? Like,
no, I had a friend who was filming at first, but because of COVID, but now he's back to his usual work again. So now I only have a light ring.
A light ring, okay.
Yeah. I'm just
okay. So you have your phone inside the light ring, and you're kind of holding it, or do you have like a tripod you set while you work on people?
Yeah, it's a big tripod. It's 1.80 meters. It's bigger than me, and I just walk around a few times with it when I change techniques, but not that much really. And it's great. It's more than enough.
Cool. So you just set it up.
Usually we overthink how we have to produce content.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't have to be some big production. So you tell us a little bit about the details of like a good producing treatment video. Are you talking a lot during it? Are you showing multiple techniques? Are you like showing before and after movements? Like what has really worked well?
When I remember to, I show before and after movements, but I try to keep it as natural as possible. It's a 1 hour session. Then you will segment it to 10 minutes for YouTube and just a few seconds for Instagram. So there is a lot missing. I try to have the things for Instagram that are more entertaining.
Like
usually spinal manipulations.
The crack and pop.
Yeah, the cracking.
So
also the massage.
They love that.
Yeah.
More so than just like soft tissue massage work. They like the spinal stuff.
If it's soft tissue massage to a female, they will like it. Yeah, the truth. It's the truth. And the less clothes the patient have, the more engagement you have on your posts.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Like I have a YouTube video when I'm treating a buddy of mine with an AC joint separation, and I have him take his shirt off when we get into the treatment part of it, and I mean it's got like 150,000 views, just that one video. And it's like it's me, the thumbnail is me treating this. He's a really fit guy, I'm working on his shoulder, and he's topless, and it's like, man, that it's not like I planned it that way, but I have noticed, that the other, like we have a dry needling video, or it's my wife being dry needled, and she has a tank top on. She's a beautiful woman, right? And so of course that's got a ton of views. It's interesting though. It just is what it is. So I guess use it if you can. So how do you get that kind of does open up my next question though. How do you go about asking and getting your patients to be okay with the video during their session?
First of all, I have a discount for them.
Okay.
I used to do 50% discount.
Wow.
But now we've increased prices, so it's not 50% anymore. It's around 40. Okay. And I'm not asking that much because I already have a lot of video data to edit probably I have content to the whole year of the 2021.
Okay, great. And do you select the patients that you ask, like based on, do you know how many followers and stuff they have, for instance?
I try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I, for example, if I have a personal trainer from the city who tries to book with me, I will ask him if he wants to be on record, to film it, right? Because I know that that person will influence on others, and that the people who do personal training with them will also see the video.
Oh, you said personal trainer. I thought you said personal friend. So personal trainer.
No, personal trainer, personal trainer.
So they tend to be good for this purpose. Yeah.
They tend to be great. Fitness athletes, personal trainers, and if you treat any kind of people with some influence in a business or here in the city, that's always great for you. You'll become like a local authority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, cool. Do you ever? Are there any scenarios where you're like, I better not ask this person because they're like super?
But I didn't understand.
Well, I guess I'm trying to think of what my audience might be thinking, and I think there's probably some objections or like, some hesitance to ask people to be on video who maybe are really influential or are kind of like they would maybe be offended. Have you ever had anyone seem offended that you asked if you could video the film or film the session?
I didn't had any pushback so far. Yeah. No, I had people who said no, but yeah. No problem. They do the normal treatment session. No problem.
Cool. Okay. Great. So are there any other types of posts other than those two that we talked about with the selfies and then the treatment posts that you've also used or found to work well?
Basically, that's it.
That's it. Wow. And then
I talk about pathology and about physical therapy, about surfaces. Doesn't give you any patience.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah. And then when you get into ads, did you say you were mostly just boosting your treatment video ads or posts? Yeah. And do you have specific, do you go into Facebook ad manager, create your audiences and then boost it to the same audience? Or do you ever segment and do different types of treatment videos to different types of people?
You can do that on Instagram, but usually I have one defined audience for Instagram, mm-hmm. Which correlates a little bit with my niche. Mm-hmm. I try to use only that audience.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember now that I remember you posting in our mastermind Facebook group saying these Instagram posts are getting me all these patients, which is awesome, but they're not my defined ideal patient. I was actually wanting to help all these, these people with these conditions. And now I've got all these personal trainers and gym rats. So how did that go? What did you decide to do with that? Or did you change your approach at all?
I changed my niche, my avatar patient a little bit, but mostly I have two of them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to redirect my ads on Facebook in another way that I have to do it on Instagram.
So your Facebook ads, you're targeting the older folks and maybe with some autoimmune and that kind of stuff.
On Facebook, it's like you say, you have to pay to play. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It doesn't have any organic reach now.
Right. And are you with your the things that you're putting on Facebook ads? Are you targeting mostly your original niche that's maybe a little older?
Yes. Women more than 60 years old, mm-hmm. And it's working.
It's working. Instagram is for under 60. Okay. I'll remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Instagram, I use it for ages between 25 and 50.
So when you're posting on, when you're doing a Facebook ad, do you turn off the placements on Instagram? You just don't even make it.
Yes, I do.
Turn off. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's interesting because we're just now kind of getting back into Facebook ads for the clinic. So I'll have to kind of keep that in mind and maybe adjust.
And on my Instagram ads, I also have get a lot of new followers from my Instagram ads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even
and also
patients.
there are, you know, that there are some things they don't let us write on the copy of our ads, like you have back pain, you have neck pain. But I found out that I've tried it through the Facebook Manager, do an Instagram ad. They didn't let me, but when I used it as a post and then promoting it, it's up and running. Used it more than once.
So you just
it's like this one is my best post and ad. It's like 2 or 3 spinal manipulations. Then you have back pain, more manipulations. You have neck pain, more manipulations. Discover osteopathy, and then some arrows pointing up to our name and saying follow us.
Wow.
Yeah, and you also have a little tweak there, because if people see the ads and then they go to your name because they are thinking about the arrows pointing to your name and go to your name, you don't pay anything for it.
So you mean you don't pay for the click?
Yeah. If they go to the click button below where it says go to profile, that's the way I do it usually. Then you will pay for it. But if they press the name, you won't pay for it.
Okay, so the arrows are pointing up to your profile name, and they'll just click that, and then they go to your profile and follow. Oh, that's brilliant. That's a little trick I didn't know about. That's cool. So, so that ad is obviously you're just trying to grow your audience. You're just trying to get followers. Tell us about an ad that is like a direct call to action to like request a consultation or something like that that has worked.
I don't do that. What I changed in the ads, it's just instead of going to my profile, it's just send me a message.
Okay, send me a message. And do you get a lot of messages that way?
Yes. Even if I ask them to go to my profile, I receive a lot of messages.
Wow.
I was telling you that with 10 euros, I used to book 1 or 2 patients, but probably I get like 10 to 20 messages.
Wow. So would you mind us kind of going into the details of what you found has worked in that message interaction? Like things you say that seem to...
A lot of them just ask about the price.
Okay.
And I tried not to answer that right away. It also takes you a lot of time during your day to be engaging and messaging. I try to ask them what they have, what's their problem. Eventually, I'll answer to the price. Then most of them won't book. Sometimes it happens that they will still follow you, and 1 month later they will book an appointment. That also happens. But usually I can count with 1 or 2 direct appointments.
Okay. And do you ever try to get them from the messaging onto a phone call?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll try to have the conversation all through direct messages.
Yes.
And even to the point of saying like, hey, you know, if they want to book, you'll actually book them. Kind of, I have 9 o'clock available tomorrow, kind of thing, and you'll actually book them without ever getting on the phone with them.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Sometimes I book them directly from there. I tell them, if you want to book, you you can do it here with me, or you can call this number.
Okay, cool. And is there a reason that you don't try to get them off of Messenger and onto the phone to talk with you?
I think sometimes people are more comfortable just texting than they are on the phone.
Okay. Okay. So it's not that you're like, there's some, I don't know, rule in Portugal or anything like that. I was just wondering, with the way you said, no. I was just curious if there was something driving that, but more just to keep it, you know, totally comfortable for them.
Because it's almost a way of personal communication as well, because I have patients who heard about me, and then they go to Instagram and then they contact me through Instagram instead of calling or texting or something.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow. Are there any other components of the strategies that you use on Instagram or Facebook that we haven't really gotten into today?
No, I think you can also think about it almost as a funnel. But for example, it's easier for people, at least it's the way I try to think about it. It's easier for people just to press follow, to follow you, than to fill a form with the email and their name and sometimes their phone. It's just easier for them to follow. Then you have to keep nurturing them. It's like a nurture system, but it's not automated as the email. You have to keep producing content for it. It's kind of the same. Most times they aren't ready to book now, but they will book eventually.
This makes me
one thing it has changed for us. I tried to cover a bigger area than my city town. And now I have patients coming from 50 to 100 miles away.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. All because of Instagram, mostly.
Yeah. Only because of Instagram.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Sometimes I have a little bit of pushback because the clinic has my name and it's me there. I'm on most of the videos. Now I'm shooting some videos with my staff, but mostly it's me. And then some of them want only to book with me. That's been a recent challenge now.
Yeah. So and now, you know, you're going to be doing videos, I'm sure, with your staff being featured and doing the treatments, and you'll probably nip that in the bud. But that's a good lesson that has come up a few times, you know, in this podcast, and certainly in our mastermind. It comes up all the time. Like, just because you're a solo practitioner now doesn't mean you want to stay one forever. You think you want to stay one.
Yeah.
Use we. You know, when you're getting testimonials, you know, ask them to say, my therapist at, you know, XYZ clinic. Do those things ahead of time so that you don't end up with this like, man, I can't get anyone to book with my new person. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now. I'm writing the operations manual. I should have done it a long time ago with everything the way I wanted to be, every procedure for the clinic.
Great. And what kind of staff do you have? You have a clinician and an administrator, is that right?
No, I have one virtual assistant.
That's right. Okay, virtual. Yeah.
Yeah, only virtual. I think I will keep it that way because it's working great so far. Yeah. I have 2 osteopaths who are also physical therapists like me. They've also worked in the soccer team with me. And I have a physical therapist specialized in Pilates. My sister. Yeah. She's my sister. Yeah.
Great. So that's impressive. I mean, in the middle of the pandemic, primarily through...
Before the pandemic, it was just me, only me.
So in the last year, after being shut for 3 months, getting into Instagram, you've grown to 3 treating clinicians on top of, as well as yourself.
Yeah. But I'm working less hours now. I'm working like in the clinic 15 to 18 hours a week.
Great. so you can enjoy your 3-year-old and your 3-month-old.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been great.
Well, thank you so much. So
I haven't told you about it, but I'm thinking about open another clinic.
Great.
A city close by. Just try to have my wife to agree with me, to have her support. And but I think still, I think we will open up this year.
Fantastic. Man, I'm glad to have been any part of this, and you know, it's been such an honor, and you know, to work with you in this path. And you know, I'm sure plenty of people will want to follow you and see what you're doing. So why don't you tell us your Instagram handle so we can do that?
Yes, maybe it's better if we write it then.
yeah, we can. I mean, I'll definitely write it as well.
You can follow me at Jorge Massano .osteo.
Okay, so it's Jorge.
Yes. M-A. Two S's.
Is there a dot though, you said, or no?
After Massano.
Oh, after Massano. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to bring it up here because I know I follow you. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay, so the title is Physio Growth, huh? Or no? Is that
no.
That's your other one.
That's another thing for another business I'm doing.
Jorge Massano .osteo. Okay, so it's Jorge Massano. Jorge Massano .osteo. OSTEO. Very good. All right, man. And if, I'll just know, I mean, when I look at it,
wants my advice on something, they can just DM me. I don't have a problem sharing everything.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm just looking at the posts and kind of how they've changed. And yeah, this is great. You got you're really featuring your other folks now, which is awesome. And I'd also point out, I mean, this incredible growth and success, you know, you might think, oh, he must have 50,000 followers or something. He has, at the time of this recording, just under 5,000 followers. So to have that much result from you know, a relatively lower.
Yeah, I've grown. 5 months ago, I had 1,000 and a few more. Mm-hmm. So it's growing really fast now.
That's awesome. Well done, man. Thank you so much for sharing all this. It's really been inspiring and super actionable. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be able to take these types of posts and do something big with them. So really appreciate it.
So I appreciate it, Jared. Thank you so much. It was really an honor for me.
Absolutely, brother. We'll do it again in a year when you have 50,000 followers and 5 clinics.
I hope it's working in a year from now, but if it doesn't, we cannot be attached to it.
Right. We'll find something new. Find something else.
I think TikTok is working really well in the US, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, it's not something that I've gotten into, but I've never, you know, been really big on social media with my practice, and TikTok is not something I've explored, but I mean, you see it a lot, obviously. To what degree it's working, I think I need to probably put some feelers out there and see what actual results people are getting.
I think you should use it, maybe not for your practice, but for your other business, for your mastermind business. I think you should.
Yeah. I just don't know if I can sit there with music and like point at, you know, words as they appear. And I have to find a way that I can use it and not feel like you know, like I'm not being myself.
Yeah, that was the most important thing for me on Instagram. First thing was I had to stop thinking about what other people would think about me.
Right.
Because of the post of the cracking, a lot of physios don't like that. Mm-hmm. And I think I wasn't posting the things I wanted, the way I wanted, because I was thinking about what others think about me, and the moment I let that go, everything got so much better.
Great. That's good parting advice. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I'll see you hopefully
See you
in our Q&A tomorrow at noon. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Cash-Based Practice Podcast. If you liked what you heard here today, we have some extremely important things we want to send you. First, a quick start guide to cash-based physical therapy and Medicare. This free ebook will provide the primary rules and regulations surrounding this confusing but important topic. Secondly, we want to share with you the 5 characteristics common to all successful cash-based practices. Find out the vital things Jared has learned from years of interviewing cash practice owners and running his own successful cash practice. As one of our listeners, we want to give you all this information absolutely free. You can get it right now by going to drjaredcarter.com/success. Again, that's drjaredcarter.com/success. Go there now to get your copies, and we'll see you next time.